Hello, everybody. Thank you so much to everyone who is joining live and hanging out live tonight. And thank you to everybody who watches the replay. It means so much that you take the time out of your busy schedule to watch the replay. So let's get into it. I'm excited to chat with y'all tonight. I feel like I say that every single week. But let's kick it off with our normal go-to question. What is it that you are drinking? I am still very much working on my water today. I'm very behind in water, and I lost my cup. I told my patrons about this, but I lost my Plan with Laken cup. Kayla sent me a new one, but it's not here yet. So I've been using this yellow cup that I've had for a very long time. I love the color. So I'm using this right now as my water cup, and I'm very behind. I still have some in the jug, like in the fridge. So this might be a day that I don't actually hit my water goal, which is fine. Not a big deal. All right, Amanda, water and Diet Dr. Pepper. Yum. Vitamin Zero, water, all this. Everyone's drinking the water today. I feel like that's a summer thing. I feel like we're all super dehydrated. Monica, best part of having a Wednesday off of work. Welcome. I'm so excited to have you. Thank you for joining us. Y'all, this is just one of my favorite things. Okay, let me kick it off. I have a couple of announcements. I have some good news and some bad news. Let's start with the bad news. Kind of. There is no live next week. I am going to be in Chicago with my family, and I know we briefly discussed potentially having my mom on join for another live, but I am there for such a short time period, and I'm working a lot of the time that I'm there that I'm selfish. I want my mom for myself, and I want to be able to take that time to spend with not just my mom, but my other siblings as well. So there will be no live next week, but there will be a YouTube video up on Wednesday in its place. Now for the really good news, new merch is coming. I finally got all of it in my hands. I just wanted to make sure I had it in my possession before I said dates and things that it was going to be launching. So patrons will get the link first on Wednesday. So if you are a member of the Patreon community, look out for that link on Wednesday. If you join between now and Wednesday, you can get the link on Wednesday too. There will be a restock of some of the prior bundles as well as some new bundles, and there will be very limited supply of the bundles. So patrons will likely sell those out. They did last time. And then everybody else will get the link the Saturday the 31st. So yeah, those are the announcements. Those are the announcements. I'm so excited, guys. I'm so excited. I literally got it in the mail today. And I've just been I'm just super excited. And Kayla's photo quality for the website she's so talented, y'all. So I'm really excited. If you don't know who I'm talking about, Kayla from Oh Hello Co. Originally Oh Hello Stationery, but now they do all kinds of products and not just stationery. Her and her husband Alex they're the company that is helping me with all of my merch that I'm doing all my merch through. And so she takes all of the product photos that I put up on the website, and man, they're just beautiful. Hello, Holden. That's so fun. All right, let's get into the questions. What questions do you have, or topics? If you don't know how to phrase your struggle or your concern or your question in the form of a question, you just want to say, I want to talk about insert topic here. We can do that as well. Let's chat. Goals, life, whatever you want to talk about. Alrighty. Lots of people drinking water today. All kinds of water. Guys, water's the best. So helpful. And a lot of goals. Water can make a difference in a lot of ways, for sure. Thank you, Barbara. I appreciate this sweet comment. I love y'all, but I'm excited to be with my family. Do I follow minimalism? No. I think there are so many definitions of minimalism, first off, that it can be really difficult to pinpoint, what does that even mean in terms of what you follow? Now, to the extent that I can only own as much as fits in a tiny New York City apartment, there is likely some degree of minimalism in the space that I am limited by. But I don't know that I would consider myself a minimalist. Oh no, the photo quality is bad. That's super frustrating. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know. We've had lots of storms here today. The storms have been awful. So, I don't I don't know what I can do on my side right now. I mean, it still says connected. My Wi-Fi looks good. I have all my bars. So I don't know what's going on. I'm super sorry about that, y'all. All right, Amanda, top 3 favorite kinds of toast. I know you were saying recently that we ran out of all the questions, and here you are coming up with new questions. You know, my mom used to make, I don't know if I can come up with 3, but my mom used to make, at least I'll give you 2. My mom used to make this toast when I was little. That was literally butter and cinnamon and sugar. And she'd make it in the toaster oven. She'd take a piece of bread, put butter on it, put cinnamon and sugar on it, and put it in the toaster oven. And it was just like the best treat ever. And then Sam makes really, really good hollow French toast. Okay. Heading to VT, Vermont, I'm assuming you mean Allison, with friends next week. Tips for traveling with friends. So yes, first off, I have a discussion in advance how you're going to handle finances, because that's one of the things I've noticed when traveling with friends is that's always the part that makes it awkward. So have a conversation in advance. Are you going to reimburse as you go? Like if you go out for a meal, are you going to immediately reimburse? Let me give you a tip for an app that I love. It's called Splitwise. That app has saved me on traveling with friends and even with family. And basically what you do is you add as you go the things that you pay for, and you can break down who owes what. You can either divide it evenly, you can put in exact dollar amounts, you can put in percentages, you can break it down any way you want. And then at the end of the trip, it'll say who owes who what. Obviously, the more people that are involved, the more complicated this gets, but just have that conversation about finances, whether you're going to be really like stringent about splitting everything evenly, or you're going to just take turns paying for stuff, et cetera, but have that conversation. Okay, maybe try giving it a refresh and see if, okay, video's becoming clear. Okay, I don't know what was going on, but I'm glad that it got fixed. Thanks for sticking around and hanging out with me. Hello, everyone from San Antonio. Oh, super fun. Okay. Looks like all these comments are about the video, so I just want to catch up. Oh my gosh, the cinnamon, all the cinnamon toast. You eat cinnamon toast every morning. I didn't even know that when you asked that question. Cinnamon toast is one of your favorites too. Peanut butter and chocolate sprinkles. That sounds so good. You went to work today and it was super lonely. I wonder if September will be better. I mean, hopefully once everybody is back, then it's going to be a little bit better. Honestly, I kind of like the quiet at work right now. Have I tried fish paste toast? Definitely not. I have not. Do I have a favorite hot tea for morning and one for evening? Absolutely, Shannon. My favorite hot tea for the morning is an English breakfast. If I'm having tea before noon, it is 100% going to be caffeinated. So a strong English breakfast black tea. I have talked about this before, and I see Loretta in the chat. Actually, one of my favorite things to do, which I learned from my grandmother, is to combine 2 different kinds of tea. So it's like an Earl Grey, but it's the specific one from Marks and Spencer's, and then a normal English breakfast, also the gold one from Marks and Spencer's, and put one of each in the pot and have them like meld together. Oh, it's so good with a little bit of milk and a little bit of sugar. It's the best. In the evenings, I typically just do that raspberry uncaffeinated tea, mostly because I bought like boxes and boxes and boxes, and I have it forever. But I like pretty much any kind of tea. I like all the tea. Do I drink iced coffee or lattes? Yes. I love iced coffee, especially in the summer. And I love just plain lattes, like just an iced latte with literally any kind of milk. What I typically will do is I'll just, whatever they recommend with their version, whatever the coffee shop recommends with their espresso in terms of the milk, whether it's like non-fat 2% whole milk, that's what I go with. This is a great question. Any advice for someone wanting to eventually create an online brand, YouTube, Patreon, etc.? First off, just get started. Just start. Even if you don't feel like the entire plan is perfect, you don't have all the things you want to do, you don't have the perfect photos, you don't have all of the ideas, it's never going to all be perfect. And you just have to start at some point and start getting things out there, get content out there, see what people like, see what the reactions are, and just start. If you scroll all the way back to when I just started 6 years ago, I mean, it wasn't pretty then. So just start and just get going. Number 2, you can always change your mind. You can always change your mind in terms of the content that you create, in terms of the name that you go by, all those things. that also doesn't have to be perfect because you can always, always change your mind. Tip number 3, you just got to start developing the thick skin, because when it comes to creating an online brand, there are going to be people who have negative thoughts, who have negative things to say about you. There will be negative comments, there will be negative messages, and it happens. And you have to delete, block, let it roll off your skin. I love the quote that says, don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't take advice from. So if I'm not going to go to this random person on the internet for advice, I don't really care what their criticism is. So those would be my tips. But if you ever have specific questions in this genre, I don't ever foresee myself creating like content around this topic. There are lots of other people on the internet who do a great job of creating content for stuff like this. But if you ever have any specific questions that you want to ask me, just hit up my Instagram DMs. I'd be happy to chat with you. Tips for stopping impulse buying when I want, need a treat because I'm bored, had a bad day, etc. So Loretta, it's less about stopping and more about replacing. So it sounds like that's your go-to. I don't know what the word to fill in there is. When that happens, it's your go-to like medicine almost. So let's replace that with something else. So is it rereading a favorite book that you absolutely love? Is it, for me, it would be like getting in the bath, taking a bubble bath. Like what is something that you can replace that with that would provide that comfort that you need after you've had a bad day? I'm specifically talking about the had a bad day, or even when you're bored. When you're bored, it's a list of options. Like when I'm bored, I go to this list, and on that list are all the things that I've said I want to do in my free time. I want to work on my memory keeping. I want to go rollerblading. I want to read these books. Like that's my I'm bored list, instead of buying a treat in that scenario. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just replacing it. Oh, jam and butter on the toast. It's also the best on crumpets. So for sure. Hi, Naomi. I love that I'm seeing your name here in the chat. So good to see you. Traveling with your little family for the first time in years, help me not overpack. Oh, Nicole, I wish I could say I am the girl to answer this question, but I am not. I am a avid overpacker. I am very bad about this. I did fit into a carry-on for Oregon for a whole week with 3 books. And 2 in my carry-on, in my backpack. Like in my backpack, I had 2, and in my actual suitcase, there were 3 more. I am very bad at overpacking. So my help would be to Google that and find other YouTube videos that are going to have tips. The only thing that I can think of is go ahead and lay out what you're going to wear every single day, both you and your littles. It may just be one if you said little family, not littles. I know Emily Lay recently just talked about how she put outfits for her twins in gallon-sized Ziploc bags and used that for a 2-week trip and made it work. I think that that's also a great option. Tips for weight loss. Becca, that is a very, very, very loaded question. That is really hard. I personally do not feel 100% comfortable talking about general tips for weight loss because that is not my area of expertise. I am not qualified to give any tips whatsoever in that regards. I can tell you what works for me. I can tell you what I've been doing and the steps I've been taking. But in general, I would say to attack it the way you attack any other goal, right? Make a list of all the steps that you would take, break them down, start small. It's, making one better choice, one meal per day, and start there. For me, drinking water has made such a difference. I would also recommend, I see Amanda's next question, which is the No BS program. That's the weight loss program that I've recently joined. Not saying you need to join the paid version because it is pricey, but if you go do her free course, and I will link it below after this is over, but if you just go to like No BS course or something like that, you should be able to find it pretty quickly. Do the free course. The concepts that Corinne Crabtree talks about are amazing. She's just amazing. But she talks about the 4 basics of weight loss, and I'm not going to go into them here because you can find those on her course, but that's where I would start. Hi, Kaden. Claire, I love this. Do you ever rewatch any of your old weekly vlogs? Are there any particular that are favorite because of the memories? So first off, no, because I don't like rewatching myself back on camera. I just don't like it. I don't know what it is. So no, for that purpose. The only ones that I've rewatched once they've been uploaded, because I watch with my family. So the India vlog I watched with my family over Thanksgiving, that Thanksgiving right after our trip to India. That's the only time I've watched it back, is when I'm watching it with somebody else. I also watched the engagement vlog with friends of ours when we were visiting them. They wanted to watch it, so we watched that with them. Those are the only two I can think of. And again, it was because I was with someone else. I think someday I will go back and watch them, especially some of those like very specific ones with specific memories. But currently, I don't do that. Ooh, yes, a board list for the kids. That's also a great idea, Colleen. Cheney, this is a great tip as well. Going with the mentality that if you don't have it and absolutely need it, you can make a quick shopping trip. Most places that we travel to, there's at least a drugstore that you could run to if you desperately need something, or a Walmart or Target or something. So that's a great question. Or great tip. I don't know why I said question. Kayla, what do you like about the Friends TV show? Has anybody else started watching it? Because Laken's talking about it. What I like about it is kind of just the like comfort level. Like, I started watching them. My mom bought the entire box set on DVD when I was like 15 maybe. And so I just would watch them all the time. I watched them all the time in high school just to like have something on. Because I didn't have, we had satellite at the time, but I didn't have it in my room at the time. So I just watched I just had a DVD player. So I just watched the Friends DVDs like on reruns all the time. And then I took some of them with me to college. Me and my college roommate watched them all the time. So for me, it's more of that comfort nostalgia, not necessarily because it's like the best TV show ever. Ryan, great question. Did you live alone before moving in with Sam? If so, did you enjoy it? I did. I did live alone for my first couple of years here in New York. I did enjoy it. I mean, at the time, I was also working in an office, and so I had that obvious socialization every single day. So I liked having my alone time. But I also love living with Sam for obvious reasons. But I did enjoy living alone, and I do think there's a lot that can be gained, a lot of value in living alone. Jennifer, great question. Do you have a place for me to look for the information on drinking alternatives? I'm looking to stop drinking because of how tired I feel after one, but would love alternatives instead. So yes, I follow a number of people on Instagram, and their names are going to escape me. But if you send me a message on Instagram, I can find them easier that way, and I will send them to you. Honestly, the ones off the top of my head, Atlantic Brewing is the non-alcoholic beer. Guys, why can't I think of the non-alcoholic liquor that I've been drinking? I love it. I have it at home. I think worry also, let me take that all back. Try not to just go ahead and replace everything. Right? Like, I didn't just all of a sudden like switch out every time I would drink for something non-alcoholic, but I'm doing it like kind of in phases. So that's my other tip. Hi, Lisa. It's good to see you here. Yes, this video is always saved 100%. It will be up as soon as the live is over. Loretta, can we see any of the merch? I did show a sneak peek. I think that was in last week's Day in the Life or the week before. One of those two Day in the Lives. I did show a little bit of sneak peek. I will show the patrons soon, but not today. Allison, I love this question. After you've completed a big goal, have you ever given yourself breather time for self-care before starting a new goal? So for me, it personally depends on what that goal is, because I know that as soon as I stop doing something, I lose a lot of momentum, and it takes me a lot of work to get that momentum started again. So I am much more successful when I just power on right through. And I feel like I've done a good job of incorporating self-care into my daily and weekly and monthly routines, so that I don't feel like I need this like entire break of self-care, vacation aside, because I've reached the end of this goal. So like my example here would be like moving into the new apartment and then finally getting unpacked. And it could have been really tempting to just be like, oh my gosh, I just accomplished this massive goal. And now I'm just going to chill on the home related goal until I decide that I'm ready and take that time. But getting started again is so tough for me that it's not worth it. So I think just it depends on for you. If you struggle with that, like getting started and creating that momentum, then I would maybe encourage you to not. And even so, if you're going to roll right into that next goal, don't necessarily feel like you have to roll into it at the high level that you were at when you're on the end, right? Because if you think about like when you're working on a goal and you're working your way up the mountain to the top of the goal, at the end, it's the hardest part. Like you are pushing through and you're crossing that finish line. You're almost there and you're like tired from working this hard. You don't have to go right into the next goal with that same level of intensity. You can you're starting back at the bottom. So you start with those small steps. But for me, I'm just better off continuing with something rather than just like not quitting, but taking a break altogether. I hope that was helpful. A brew dog, non-alcoholic beer. Elvis juice is your favorite. Thanks for sharing, Katie. I haven't heard of that brand yet. Beer is not my favorite thing in terms of alcohol anyway. So that's not the biggest issue for me. What I found when I drink the non-alcoholic beer is just the environment. Like when we were at a picnic or even when we're out at a bar, that's the most common one that I can find out at a bar. But although they have a bar here in New York that's all non-alcoholic, I want to go so badly. But so I also started with replacing what I like the most, except that's not true because I didn't do wine. So take that back, what I just said. How do you deal with the haters? I talked about this a little bit earlier, so I don't know if this question stemmed from that conversation we had a little bit ago. But really, I remind myself of the quote you do not take criticism from someone you would not take advice from. And so delete, block your best friend, let it go, and move on. Jessica, I think you previously mentioned that you don't like making calls for appointments. I don't know why or where it came from, but making appointments causes me anxiety. What if you use found works for you? Yes, that is definitely true. So first off, if I am finding a new place, I will always try and find a place that lets me make an appointment digitally. So like we moved neighborhoods. So I had to find a new nail salon, a new hair salon, a new, my eyebrow place actually just has a location here. I can't think of what else. So everything, basically all of them lets me make an appointment online. So that first off, if there is something that you cannot do, I talked about this with a dentist. Was this last week? Actually, I think I mentioned this in the Patreon call on Saturday. My dentist is like really, really super duper old school. So they do not do online scheduling. And the effort of finding a new dentist and getting all my records transferred, that's more work than just picking up the phone. Or I ask my very phone oriented fiance to do it for me. It helps that I have a very gender neutral name, and he has been Laken a lot and made appointments for me on the phone. Michelle, no question, but I just ordered a plum paper planner with vertical priorities. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you. I hope you love it. If it is your first time using the plum paper, the paper is takes some getting used to, but I hope you love it. In my Cultivate What Matters planner, some goals I have not done or done very little, and it makes you sad. Any advice? Diane? Yes. So at this point, we're about halfway through the year. So if you have done very little or nothing about those goals, I would check in with yourself and think, are these goals really important to me in 2021? It doesn't mean that it's a bad goal. It doesn't mean that it's not something you may not do someday. But if you haven't made progress at this point or even started to make progress, it may just not be the year for you to work on that goal. And that is 100% okay. And as soon as you tap into that and realize what's going on, you can let that go and then focus all that mental energy that I'm assuming is holding you back onto the goals that you are working on and making progress on, and really focus in on those and making those your priority. If that is not the case and you really check in and you're like, no, this is a goal that I do really want to work on. And by the way, 5 months, more than 5 months left in 2021. That is still so much time to make so much progress on so many goals. So you 100% could still get started on them right now and still see progress by the end of the year. Then you just got to start small. You got to take that goal, you got to break it down, make sure those action plan pages are filled out, pick a small starting step and just get started. And you will be so surprised at how that small step of action, that action will create the momentum to create the motivation to keep you going. Oh, Amy, you're the same way. You lost momentum with your Peloton. You finally did Allie's 60 minutes. 60 minutes. Oh my gosh. The longest ride I've done so far is 30, y'all. I have a couple 45s on my list because they're like Disney or Broadway, but 60 minutes. That's amazing. Corey, do you have any weekend routines or rituals to get ready for the week ahead? Yes, but not really. Not many. Mostly it's just checking in with my calendar, my Google Calendar, making sure that everything looks A-okay and nothing's overlapped. I don't need to move anything around. But if I don't do that till Monday morning, I'm okay with that too. I have really tried to get into a space where my weekends are whatever I want them to be. Sometimes that is a bunch of stuff to prep for the week, depending on what the week looks like, depending on what the weekends looks like. But like this weekend, my brother's coming to visit and I'm taking the whole weekend to hang out with him. I'm not gonna do anything else over the weekend, and that's okay. So what I've tried to do is shift some of those other routines and things into the week so that they get done every week, but I don't have to worry about doing them over the weekend. But that is just what works for me. Depending on your life and your job and your family situation, that might not work for you, but that has been the situation for me. Lisa, you joined late. Nobody asks really about one little word besides you. Am I working on one little word this month? Yes, I really pretty much always work on my one little word during our Patreon silent co-working. So once a month we do a silent co-working session where we just hop on Zoom. It's a virtual coffee shop is what I like to call it. And we work on a goal related thing together. And I pretty much always work on my one little word. And I finished June and July during that session. So I am all caught up. I'm so proud. I'm so excited. Yes, Isabella, ZocDoc is a great place. That's where whenever I need a new doctor, that's where I go. My dentist just happens to not be on ZocDoc because, like I said, my dentist is old school. Just started my quarterly refresh and realized the problem with completing my goals is time management. When the goals are to clean and declutter and it is overwhelming, where do you start? So first off, super proud of you for doing your quarterly refresh, even though you may feel like we're already 3 weeks into the quarter, why would I even bother? So the fact that you're working on it, bravo. Number 2, the fact that you realize that one of your struggles is time management is another major breakthrough and something that a lot of people don't realize. And that is amazing. I'm just super proud of you for those 2 things. Let's get to your question. When the goals are to clean and declutter and it is overwhelming, where do you start? So first off, the book, Decluttering at the Speed of Life, 100% recommend. Super helpful. I think you should check on that. Check out that book. Number 2, just like any goal, break it down and then break it down again. And then break it down again until, this is when you stop breaking it down, you get each step to whatever time amount is manageable for you. So if you only have pockets of 5 minutes, then you need to break down that goal until the steps are 5-minute steps. That might be one section of one drawer. It might be one level of one cabinet. It might be 1/3 of one small closet. Like whatever it is for you, you break it down until it is easier for you to stick those steps into your calendar. So for cleaning and decluttering, right, it's starting with, obviously the easy one is rooms, step 1. Within the rooms, it's usually pretty easy to break down from there. And then next step is break that down even further. So I hope that that's helpful for you. Sarah, I love this question. You are driving to Grand Rapids this weekend. Is any of the merch available in the Oh Hello storefront? Yes. And they might have the new stuff out this weekend. I don't know. Kayla hasn't told me if the new stuff has been put on the shelves in the store, but they definitely have the current stuff on the shelves. Yeah, there's like a little section of the photo. That's so exciting. I have so much fun. And tell the puppy I said hi. He's so cute. How is memory planning going? Crystal, I love that you asked this question because I finally did a week yesterday. literally yesterday. I haven't done a week. The last week I did was the week of February, not the last week of February, the week before that, like February 16th or whatever that week was the last week I did in my planner. I did a week. I did like last week in my memory, in my Moxie life, literally yesterday. And I'm so excited. It'll be in the vlog. I just am so proud of myself. But again, that it's amazing. The action then inspired me to keep going. And then I sent more pictures to get printed. And like now it's working again. And I've got that momentum going. Great tip as well. The minimal mom is someone a lot of people recommend when it comes to decluttering as well. Rachel, what do you want to do when you want to break down a goal for an allotted time, but you don't know how long each step for that goal will take you? Great question. Most of the time, we actually don't know how long that goal is going to take you. One of the things that I do when I'm unsure, like it could take anywhere from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, is I'll use one of these dot markers. I was trying to find a gray one because I don't know, I just felt weird to grab green. But so like on the list, right, you got, say it's desk drawer. And then you put little dots, 5 little dots. And so if you're working in 5-minute increments and you go to the desk drawer and you're done in 5 minutes, well, then you're done. And you just check, you cross it all off and you're done. But if you work on it, but you're not done with it yet, if you worked on it for 5 minutes, then you get to check off one of the little dots. The key to the breakdown is seeing the progress. I'm going to say that again. The key to the breakdown is being able to see the progress. So the fact that you have a space to check it off, even though you're not completely done, that is magic. And so make the little dots and then when you're done, then you can cross it all off when you don't know how long it's actually going to take you. I hope that was helpful. Lisa, you had no idea it was in the store. Yeah, it is. I don't know if I ever said that anywhere. I don't know. But yeah, Kayla put a little section up in the store. Going to Chicago next month for a work conference. Any suggestions for things to check out there? Nancy, I wish. I am not a great Chicago expert. Most of my Chicago life was lived in the suburbs. My parents live in the city now. So when I visit, I mostly just hang out with them in their neighborhood and with my friends. So I don't really have any great ideas because I don't know what area you're going to be in or what kinds of things you like. And I've said this before with recommendations, mostly applicable to New York because I do feel comfortable giving recommendations for New York, is if you message me with like a really specific request, like I need something in this neighborhood or I need this type of food or I need this type of bar, I can usually give a much better recommendation rather than just like, what do you like? Although for New York, I do have a video of all my top in general recommendations. If you are visiting New York, I do have that video. That was helpful. Lisa, is there a date the tickets go on sale for September classes? You are ahead of the game, girl. So the link will be live for patrons on August 20th. So I don't actually know if I've mentioned this anywhere, but I did mention it. I spoke to the Texas Planner Babes on Saturday, and I mentioned that the next round of Accelerate Your Goals will be taught live in September. And so the tickets for patrons, tickets is the wrong word, signups, I guess, you said tickets, that's why I said tickets. It's fine. Patrons will get the link with a discount included on August 20th. And then for everyone else, it will be that following Monday, August 23rd. Where did Charlie get her name? Whenever I hear it as a female name, you think of the Charlie perfume. Oh, that's funny. So she's actually named after Ray Charles. So her name is Charlotte Ray, and she goes by Charlie. I know that's so cheesy, but it's true. What has been the highlight of your week? So whenever you ask that, I always think it's like Monday through Wednesday, like it's this week, but really it's everything from last Wednesday to this Wednesday. This is probably rollerblading. If you didn't see my post on Instagram, if you're not on Instagram, I went rollerblading on Sunday. It was so fun. That was probably the highlight of my week. Any advice for going to bed earlier with the goal of waking up earlier? 100%. So couple things. One, do not try to just go from wherever you're going now to like 3 hours earlier. Even if that's the goal, it is very hard to sustain that. And that goes for getting up earlier too, right? Like going from getting up at 8 a.m. to getting up at 5 a.m. every day is going to last like 3 days. So increments, small increments. Like somebody I listened to recommended 5 minutes. I feel like depending on what your goal is, maybe you could push it to 10. Start with small increments. Number 2, set a timer on your phone that reminds you to start getting ready for bed, or to start winding down, or to start like thinking about bed at least 30 minutes before it's actual bedtime. Just to start like it getting your brain ready, like, hey, you're going to get in bed in 30 minutes. I actually do mine an hour because I like that whole time to like remind myself. It's really just, it goes off at 8 o'clock and it's like, it's 8 o'clock, by the way. So like start thinking about the evening time things. And if you haven't done your PM routine, go do it now because you're going to fall asleep. The last one would be something that gets you excited to get into bed. So if you're reading before bed, get a new book that you're really excited about. If you are somebody who watches TV before bed, which lots of things say not to do that, but if you are, if that like is something that you want to work on, then not work on yet, then have something you're excited to watch. New sheets or new pillows, new pajamas, like something that gets you excited to get into bed. When I was working on this, it was the Hatch. I bought the Hatch and that made me excited to get into bed, and it worked on my evening routine. Oh, Rebecca, thank you for the Chicago recommendations from somebody who lives there full time. How did you transition from decorative planning weekly to functional? I don't know that I was ever truly a decorative planner, Crystal. So I don't know that I really ever did that kind of a transition. But I would recommend that you just do it one step at a time. So what are all the pieces of your planner that you would consider decorative? And maybe think about removing one of them every single week and really focusing in on the functionality of your planner. The video that Cindy put up, it was either today or it was yesterday, about using your planner, getting excited about your planner again. Check that video out because it was fantastic. Randy, what has been on my mind the most lately? That's a great question. Probably just like the amount of things coming up. Like I said, my brother's coming to visit. He gets here tomorrow and he is here through Sunday. And then we literally turn around and leave for Chicago 2 days later. And then we're there for a week. So it's just like a lot right at the end of July. And so I feel like July started late for me because I was on vacation, and now it feels like it's getting out of hand again. And so I kind of feel like I'm like almost in my head writing off July. But then when I look at my power sheets, I like actually think about all the progress I did make in July, and it is kind of amazing. I was actually just doing I'm filming tomorrow before he gets here and for August. And I was doing the math on what percentage of the time I did each of my habits. So when you watch the August goal or the July/August goals video, I'm going to share that. And it's so interesting to look at those numbers. So that's like what's on my mind right now. I don't know about lately, but currently. Oh, thank you. I'm so excited too. I'm so excited. Kayla, any tips about sticker organization using mini binders? So I have a whole video. Actually, I think it's like 4 videos about how I organize my stickers, although I'm about to revisit that. I've had some thoughts with my stickers recently. Honestly, it's just whatever way works for you. That's like the biggest tip with organizing stickers. How does your brain look for stickers? Do you look by shop? Do you look by type of sticker? Do you look by color? How does your brain, when you're like, I need a sticker, what does your brain want to look by? And that's how you should organize your stickers. And then yes, the A5 sheet protectors. I get them also a pack of 50 from Amazon, super cheap. Like they're linked in that video. If you find that video or videos, that is also how I organize them. Tips on doing a goal refresh for the end of year monthly actions when Power Sheets, Moxie Life aren't in your budget right now. That is a great question, Loretta. If you have an older set, so first off, Moxie Life has their compass assessment on their website and in their Facebook group. And they also have that list of goal ideas for each section of life on their website and Facebook group. You can 100% just go through that and like figure out which goals you want to work on and like circle those and call it a day. And that is an option to do a refresh. Because I'm assuming, we're talking about like December, right? Setting goals for the following year. If you have an older set of power sheets, go through and read the questions and just write your answers in a notebook or on a piece of printer paper and just do it that way. I think one of the exercises that I always have the Accelerate Your Goals students do before it starts, and I have a YouTube video for them that kind of walks them through this, is thinking about your ideal day. So what does your ideal day look like? And thinking about the goals that you need to set to help make that ideal day a reality. I'm all caught up on questions and comments. Whew, there was a lot of great questions in there. I feel like I just like rattled off answers for the last however many minutes. That was awesome. I hope that some of that was helpful for you. We still have 20 minutes. If you have any other questions, anything else on your mind, things you want to talk about. I love phrasing like, tips. It doesn't have to be framed in a question. It can be a topic that you want to discuss, tips for insert thing here. Rachel, I haven't put this in a video yet, but I am not going to go wild. I have told the Go Wild team, so they know, and I've told all of my close planner friends, but I'm not gonna be able to make it to Go Wild. I'm sorry. It's the weekend before the wedding, and it's not gonna work out. So I am going to miss all of you so much, everybody that is going to be there. But hopefully we will be able to see each other in another city at some point. If it's not this year, sometime later next year, sometime in the future. Favorite restaurant in New York for a special dinner for your mom? Oh, Chrissy, what kind of food does your mom like? Tell me what kind of food your mom likes, and I will either tell you some recommendations here or I'll text you some ideas. I have lots of restaurants that I love here. Tell me about the Moxie Life, please. Yeah, Lisa. So it is another goal setting planner. In the Texas Planner Babes chat, I talked about the Cultivate What Matters Power Sheets because that's the one that I love and the one that I use. But I also love the Moxie Life team and the Creator Sierra, and it's a beautiful planner. I have a video that is comparing the two. So it's the Cultivate What Matters Power Sheets and the Moxie Life. And it just gives you some thoughts, some questions to ask yourself to help you figure out which one would be best for you as it pertains to your goal setting journey. So check that video out. I will link it below when this is over. And hopefully that'll help you figure out which one works best for you. Lisa, have you been back in the office more? I went on Monday of this week because I also had a dentist appointment and my dentist is in my office building. And so my goal really is just to go 1 day a week in July. And then, although I'm not going at all next week because we're leaving for Chicago, but then I'm going to go 2 days a week in August. And so that I'll be ready for 3 days a week in September. Tips for moving in with your boyfriend. You're going to be moving into his flat. So we did it the other way around, Loretta. He moved into my apartment. And so I know from my standpoint, there was a lot of struggle with like making sure that he felt like it was his apartment. My tip there would be to just make sure that you have that conversation, that open conversation. If you are feeling like it's not your space, it's his space. And it may never fully feel that way until you move into a new space together. At least that's what Sam said. But he also probably could have brought it up sooner, and then maybe we would have made some changes together. So bring that up if that's something that you are struggling with. I think as living with everyone, with anybody, it's just about communication. Like, I need to be in the shower at this specific time so I can do this, and just communicating about that. Or I need alone time at this point of the week, and here's how I'm going to get it. Like, just keeping that open communication going all the time. It's a learning process, and just reminding yourself that you love him. Rebecca, I love this comment. You took your advice and started Power Sheets because there are still 5 months left. Today, your goal is to tackle a stack of clothes in front of your dresser. And once you finished, it motivated you to keep going. I love that action creates momentum. Like, just that, it's magic. It works. Honestly, anything. We just love food. Okay. Tell me once you decide which neighborhood you're going to stay into, because that will help. Let me refer you to restaurants that are near your hotel. Crystal, how is NYC handling the uptick in cases? Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely hard to see the numbers going up after they'd been going down for so long. One of the net positives is that we actually have really bad air quality right now. Our pollution levels are much higher than they have been in a long time. And so a lot of people are wearing masks for that. And I think that has, hopefully that will have an impact on the case numbers, but it definitely has been intense for sure. Yes, Cheney. Expectation setting. That's a great point as well. Your favorite restaurant in New York was Ellen's Stardust, but not sure how your mom would feel about that. I have actually never been there. The line is always just crazy out the door, and I've heard that it's not worth it. I will also say, back to the uptick of cases, I've noticed a lot more people back to wearing masks inside stores and places. You're not required to. All of it still says optional, but a lot more people are doing it now, which is good. First time catching a live. What are your favorite smoothie combinations? So Pam, I pretty much 100% always put a banana, a frozen banana, because I just like the consistency that adds to my smoothie. I usually, so it's unsweetened almond milk, banana, spinach and protein powder are like the 100% for sure base. And then what else I incorporate depends on the flavor that I want to get. So sometimes I do like tropical land. So I do frozen mango, frozen pineapple, and a little bit of coconut. Sometimes I do chocolate and just add in a tablespoon of cocoa powder, just straight cocoa powder. Sometimes I do chocolate and peanut butter, and we'll do the chocolate plus a little scoop of peanut butter. Sometimes I do strawberry banana, and so I'll just add in frozen strawberries with that base. Sometimes I just want it to be super sweet, so I'll add, instead of the unsweetened almond milk, I'll do that Caramel Quest protein shake and make it super sweet. I think that's pretty much it. Those are all the ingredients that I like have on hand to make smoothies all the time. What is your favorite music to listen to? Diane, I am a super weirdo when it comes to music because I listen to pretty much anything. Like, I love Disney and Broadway and show tunes. And then I also love like pop and current hits. I love like old 2000s, 90s, 80s pop as well. I love like 90s alternative, especially when I'm with Sam, because that's his favorite. I love country. I grew up in Texas. I love me some country. Pretty much, like, I don't know current country. I like listen to classic 90s country, Garth Brooks, George Strait. Yeah, that is like my realm of music. All of those things. I love lots of different kinds of music. Ooh, new job tips and about coworkers coming back to the office. So Kayla, I have not had a new job in almost 10 years. I've been with the same company my whole adult life. And so I don't really have any good tips on starting a new job. Coworkers coming back to the office, also not really good on that. I've been in the office 3 times, and the same 2 guys have been there they come in pretty much every day. They just want to get out of their apartment. So I don't know if I'm really the right person to give tips on this. I'm sorry. How are you liking all the Quest goodies? So more to come on that in not this current vlog that's coming this week, but in a future vlog. The shakes are amazing. All the flavors, great. The bars are amazing. The chocolate bites, amazing. Cookies, overrated. The chips are hit or miss. It depends on the flavor. I've tried almost everything yet. I've tried almost everything at this point. Lisa, I'm so excited. Thank you for joining Patreon. I'm so excited. Wanted to check when you were going to have new items on sale and where you can look to buy them. Yeah, so the new items, the link will be, I will post in both the Patreon Facebook group, and I will put a post in Patreon, which will come to your email next Wednesday, the 28th. And I'll give the link. It's on my website. You can go now and see the other things I have in the shop on the website. The current products that will still be there as well, but the new products and the new bundles will be up on Wednesday. Favorite way to self-discover. So I don't know if it's my favorite way, but the most effective way for me is to journal and to write things and just see what comes out. Oh my gosh, Loretta, you're going to a live country music event tomorrow. I'm so jealous. That is so fun. I love country music. And I have a friend here in the city who I met at an alumni event that she also loves country music. And so whenever someone goes on tour, like she's who I saw Garth with at Yankee Stadium. We saw Shania at MSG. We saw, who did we go to Jersey? George. We went to Jersey to see George Strait. Like she's who I see country concerts with here in the city. Have you picked a Broadway show for your first show back? Allison, we have not. It probably will come down to, we were looking at 6 and we've also been looking at Hadestown. But yes, everything is so expensive. So we are struggling. But it's probably going to be one of those two are like our top 2 that we want to make sure that we see ASAP. What type of journals do I use? I use just the plum paper journals because, again, I'm a coil girl through and through. And so I just get the plum paper plain lined with a coil. I usually try to order them when I can get the cover of the month because then you get 10% off. Advice for making new friends when you move to a city. So get involved. What do you like to do? Now it should be a little bit easier that things are opening up, but going to things and meeting people that have similarities as you. So for me, it was going to the alumni events. It's how I met this friend that I go to country concerts with. It's also how I met my fiance. Does your college have alumni events? Is there a hobby or an activity that you like to do? Is there a sports team that you like to watch? Is there a bar in your city for that particular sports team that you can go watch those games at and potentially meet people that are also fans of that team? Friends of friends as well, like if you at least know one person in the city, asking them to introduce you to some of their friends, whether not necessarily asking them to host a party, you know what I mean? But instead of just seeing that friend one-on-one, seeing that friend in like a group of friends in order to just meet new people, and you just never know. I also went to a lot of things by myself. I went to church by myself. I went to movies by myself. You don't really meet people at the movies. I went to bars by myself. Like I did a lot of things by myself in order to just meet new people. I also met a lot of people through work. So I don't know if you are working in person for a job, but I did also make a lot of friends that way. All right. I'm all caught up again. Oh, well, I guess that's good because it's 52. Any last minute questions? I appreciate all of the great questions you guys have had tonight. Let's close it out then with my final question, which is, what is one thing that you will do this week to make progress on your goals? Does not have to be huge. Any progress is progress. Normally my cup says that, and I could just tell you that. But what is one thing that you can work on this week to make progress on your goals? It doesn't have to be huge. Any progress is still progress. But what is one thing that you will do in order to keep moving forward? Time management, definitely a good one. Take the office dog for a walk on days you're in the office. I love it. Finish cleaning your front bedroom and get ready to turn it into an office. Pam, that's so exciting. Memory planning your second week. Amy, I'm so excited. What are you using Memory Plan? I'm so excited to hear about this. Continue researching budget apps to go along with your paper budget. Love that. I'm also just a big fan of the Excel spreadsheet. I'm also here for that. Make a prioritized list for your great room refresh. It's a great one, Erin. Just plan your week. Keeping it simple. I like it. No soda. That's a tough one. Super proud of you for that. Actually get back into your power sheets. Crystal, you don't have to fill up every line. Just jump back in. 1 or 2 things. Writing anything down. That action will kickstart that momentum. Make a video and post it. I'm so proud of you. All of the claps. You got this. Just start. Cleaning the extra room for your son to move back into. Set aside an hour to continue decluttering. I love it, Rebecca. Going to a job interview on Friday. Good luck. Sending you all the good vibes. Set August goals and set up your planners. Such a good one. Throw one thing away or donate it. That's all it takes. All it takes is one small step like this, and it adds up. It may not feel like it adds up. And even if you can't talk yourself into the fact that it will add up for that particular goal, what it's doing for you is creating that momentum. That small action step, even if you feel like it makes no impact, is creating momentum for you through action. And that will keep you going. And the more that you do those small steps over time, they will add up until you see the progress and complete that goal. So do not forget that small progress is still progress. If you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up before you head out, I would greatly appreciate that. If you are watching the replay, make sure you let us know in the comments as well. What is one thing you're doing to make progress on your goals this week? And hit that subscribe button if you're new here. I do go live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me tonight. Have a great night.